Hello everyone. If you're still struggling on how to create a procedure and a standard operating procedure or a simple process to follow at work, university, or even for any professional project that you're working for, if you're at school, even university, or you're working at an office and your boss asks you, hey, we want to create a procedure, an operation procedure, or a procedure that everyone needs to follow regarding whichever topic that comes to your mind. Many people really don't know how to create a standard operation procedure or a simple process to follow. So in this video, I'll explain to you and I clarify some concepts you need to be able to reply to yourself first before even to start creating the procedure. The first thing you need to analyze is why do we have to create this procedure? It is because it was asked for, it is needed, or whatever. This question is important because if its standard operation has no goal, it might be impossible to really have a positive result. So you also have to ask yourself how to create this. Let me please focus this more. How are we going to create this? Is it going to be a large, a simple? Is it going to be a medium procedure? Do I need a document? It will be digital. So you need to establish that at first. Who, which means who will be in charge of this procedure. It will be, for example, the technology department. It will be you as a solo contributor. It will be your manager who will be involved in creating this procedure. When, which means that, for example, do we have a deadline, but also this means that when this new procedure or standard operation procedure will take place to be implemented, what do I need as well to create this? Which tools will be needed, or it's just gonna be a random procedure? And what happened in the case we do not have this procedure at the project or at the company? If you do not start with this, it will probably not be as successful as you might think. Another key important factor to start is to analyze that needs to be easy to read. I made a mistake here with this one, but it's easy to read and also easy to follow, which these key are important because otherwise if you keep it too complex to read and to follow, it might not be successful. So let's get started. First, you need to have the name of your procedure, which means, for example, it's a standard procedure that has a name for sure. You need to have an objective and a summary regarding this. It's important to understand why are we creating this procedure, and therefore you will convert that into an adjective or a summary. Who's responsible? It needs to be written as well. Who's responsible? Because in the end, the one who's responsible for this procedure will also be the one to update, review, and also analyze if it's working or not. After that, you need to be able to to write down, to reach to, which means in this part it's meaning that to which department, to which team, to which area this procedure will apply for. Then easy to follow step by step. For example, if you say, okay, step number 1, send an email. Step number 2, ask to accounting. Step number 4, step number 5. You really need to be able to write every single step on your procedure. Then you have to ask, is it going to be public, which means it's going to be for the entire organization or just for a specific for a specific department. Depending on that, you also need to communicate properly your procedure. After reviewing, of course, the standard procedure, you need to, and after you have, of course, come up with the final document or digital version, you need to be able to communicate properly, either by email, either in a meeting, depending on which one method you use. Also, you need to be able to establish which is going to be the best version for you. It needs to be read written or just a digital version. It's up to the company or the organization. Finally, last but not least, it's always important to establish during your procedure what are going to be the sanctions, which means that you really need to be able to analyze what are going to be the implication if someone is not following the standard precision, because again, you are creating this because of a reason that something is not really working, and you really need to have a standard. Finally, you also need to keep improving the procedure, and a standard operation procedure will not always going to be written on a stone. Therefore, you really need to be able to keep it updated every time. So if you really like this video, please like, follow me, and subscribe to the channel. Bye.